Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. So apa khabar semua orang? Okay. Boleh dengar clear ke? Tak ada orang jawab pun. Okay ke ni? Boleh dengar tak? Oh, please key in your attendance. You can actually key in your attendance. Macam okay. Boleh. Ada orang jawab boleh dah. Okay, boleh start. Start. Start lah. Oh, dengar. Alright. Okay, so now we are at chapter 7. So once we finish with chapter 7, we will have chapter 8, chapter 9 and chapter 10. Okay, so now we have 4 lecture in this chapter for trigonometric functions, and basically trigonometric function will not be tested in your PSBM. However, trigonometric function, we can actually use them in differentiation as well as application. Therefore, even though this is not really tested, the whole topic is not tested in PSBM, you got to know them. Mesti kena faham jugalah pasal trigonometric function sebab in calculus, they are the basic thing in calculus. Okay, so now this is the first lecture out of 4. So altogether, we are going to spend around 4 hours for this chapter. So let us see the subtopics. So altogether, we have 3 subtopics. So today I'll cover trigonometric ratio and identity. So we are going to spend around plus minus 1 hour for this, and then the compound angle. So for compound angle, you are going to learn about the compound angle, of course, the double angle, the half angle, and then the factor formula as well. So we have a lot of formula on 7.1 and 7.2. And then when we go to solution of trigonometric equation, so we are going to solve equation, whether it is a linear equation, a quadratic equation, or an equation that consists of both sine and cos, where we either using t substitution or add cos and add sine. So we have 3 things in solution of trigonometric equation, but we're gonna see them later on. Alright, so now let's focus on 7.1 trigonometric ratio and identity. So we just want to do a bit of recap. What is sine, what is cos, and then what is tangent. Okay, so now learning outcome. So altogether we have 5 learning outcome for today. So this is for trigonometric ratio and identities. So the first one, you should be able to state the trigonometric ratio of sine theta, cos theta, tangent theta, cosecant theta, secant theta, and cotangent theta. So altogether we have 6 of them. And then what is sine, what is cos, what is tangent. So we should be able to state the trigonometric ratio for them. For example, what is opposite of a hypotenuse? Adjacent of a hypotenuse. So those are the thing with A. And then B, express tangent theta equal to sine theta over cos theta. Sine 90 degree minus theta is equal to cos theta. Cos 90 degree minus theta is equal to sine theta. And then tangent 90 degree minus theta is equal to cotangent theta. So we are going to express them by using the help of a triangle. So we're going to use a right angle triangle, and then we're going to express this one. And then you should be able to use some special angles. So special angle, you have 0, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, as well as 90 degree. So those are known as the special angles. So 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90. So you might want to use the triangle and try to derive them, or you can actually use your hand, your finger actually, to calculate the special angle. Kalau nak hafal lah kan, we can actually use our hand for that. And then our fingers, not our hand, our fingers. Okay, and then D, find the angle of the trigonometric equation. So we are going to see which quadrant they are in, and then we are going to reduce them into a special angle so that we can find the angle of it. And then the last one, proof of the trigonometric identity. So now we are going to see some trigonometric identities, and then we are going to do some proving part. So for the proving part, you should be extra careful, because for the proving, it must be the left hand side. Either you start from the left hand side or right hand side, one side of them, and then do some calculation, or you can simplify them a little bit until the last one you should have your right hand side. Or the same way, if you move right hand side first, if you want to do the right hand side first, then right hand side, solving, simplify until you get the left hand side. That means you cannot do left hand side equal to right hand side and keep on moving them like this until you see 1 equal to 1 and then you say they are equal. Cannot. So for the proving part, you must start from the left to the right or right to the left. It must be one way. So dia tak boleh dua-dua gerak, simplify sampai habis. Tak boleh lah. Mesti kena sebelah saja. Kiri ke kanan atau kanan ke kiri sahaja. Okay, so now trigonometric ratio and identities, we are at 7.1. Okay, so what are the things that we need to know? We have 5 learning outcome, right? So let us do the first one, trigonometric ratio first. Okay, so trigonometric ratio of sine theta, cos theta, tangent theta, cosecant theta, secant theta, and cotangent theta. Okay, so let's say we have a triangle. Okay, a triangle. So this is a right angle triangle. So whenever I say right angle triangle, they are supposed to be a 90 degree over here, right angle triangle. Okay, so let us name this side as our theta. Okay, so this is theta. The opposite of theta, so this is opposite of theta, and I'm gonna name them as y. And then this one over here is something called the adjacent, or in Malay we call them bersebelahan. So adjacent, this is adjacent, opposite, this is hypotenuse. Okay, so hypotenuse, opposite, and then adjacent. Okay, so what is sine theta? So do you guys remember trigonometric ratio? How do you memorize them in your high school level? Sine, cos, tangent. Ingat tak? Apa formula yang you guys guna masa trigonometric function? Ingat tak formula apa? Bukanlah formula, dia macam apa? Yang short form tu, yang duk hafal tu. Ingat ke? Ha, betul. Soh kah tua. Kah tu sua. Boleh lah. Soh kah tua. Betul? Soh kah tua. Okay, so what is soh kah tua? Okay, sine. What is sine? Sine is actually opposite over hypotenuse. What is cos? Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. What is tangent? Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so from the diagram, if we are talking about sine, right? So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite of theta is y. The hypotenuse is z. So sine theta is equal to y over z. And then if we are talking about cos, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. So the adjacent is x, the hypotenuse is z. So cos theta is equal to x over z. And then tangent, tangent is y over x. Why? Because this is opposite over adjacent. So opposite is y, adjacent is x. So y over x. What about cosecant, secant and cotangent? Have you ever heard of them before? Pernah dengar cosecant, secant dengan cotangent? Pernah. So what is cosecant? Or how do you want to memorize them? Okay, so actually we're gonna see the third letter. Okay, so this is cosecant. So we have S. Second, we have a C. Cotangent, we have a T. So that means for cosecant, cosecant is 1 over sine because the third one is S. So 1 over sine. Okay, so cosecant is 1 over sine theta. Therefore, since sine theta is y over z, that means cosecant will be z over y. So we are going to take the reciprocal for them. So z over y. What about secant theta? So secant theta is 1 over cos C, 1 over cos. Okay, so what is cos? Cos is x over z. So by taking the reciprocal for them, it should be z over x. And then what about cotangent? So C, the third letter is a T, therefore this is 1 over tangent. So tangent is y over x, therefore the cotangent will be x over y. So we simply flip them. So flip the numerator and denominator. Okay, so those are the trigonometric ratio. Okay. Given that sine theta is equal to 3 over 5, where theta is in between 0 and 90 degree, find the values of cos theta, tangent theta, cosecant theta, secant theta, and cotangent theta. Okay, so what's the reason they are giving us something like this? This is because we want to know when we draw our triangle, where is the triangle? Because altogether we have 4 quadrants, right? So the first, second, third, and fourth. So since the theta is in between 0 and 90 degrees, so I know for sure when I draw my triangle, it should look like this because they are in the first quadrant. So this is X. This is perhaps the Y. Okay, so if they are in the second quadrant, then the theta will be between 90 and 180. So your triangle will look like this. So those are in the second quadrant. Third quadrant, so below here then. Fourth quadrant, over here then. Butterfly itulah ceritanya. Okay, so now they are in the first quadrant. Let me draw our triangle. Oops. Okay, so draw your triangle and then you are given that sine theta is equal to 3 over 5. So just now you are saying that you do memorize so kah tua, right? So kah tua. Okay, so what is sine? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So this is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so when we draw our triangle over here, this is our theta. This is a right angle triangle, 90 degree, of course. Okay, so opposite. Opposite is equal to 3. So you can straight away compare them. Opposite is equal to 3 and then the hypotenuse is equal to 5. So now the only thing that we didn't know what's the value is for the adjacent. So this is opposite. We already have the value. The hypotenuse, we already have the value. But what about the adjacent? We don't really have the value for the adjacent yet. So now we need to find what is the value of adjacent. So using the hypotenuse theorem, so you can actually take 3 square plus x square equal to 5 square. And then you can easily find out the x. Okay, so now 3 square plus, oh, they are using y. Never mind, whatever. Okay, so 3 square plus y square is equal to 5 square. So that means y square is equal to 4. So y is equal to 4. Y square is equal to 16. So the adjacent is actually equal to 4. Okay, so that is sine theta. But now they were asking for cos theta. So cos is actually adjacent over hypotenuse. So the value for the adjacent is 4, the hypotenuse is 5. Therefore, the cos theta is equal to 4 over 5. And then what about the tangent theta? So tangent is actually opposite over adjacent. So the opposite is 3. The adjacent is 4. Therefore, tangent theta is equal to 3 over 4. So cos, this is A over H. This is O over A. Okay, so those are the cos and the tangent, and now we have to find the cosecant, secant, as well as the cotangent. Okay, so now cosecant, 1, 2, 3, the third letter is S. So cosecant is 1 over sine. Okay, so sine theta is 3 over 5. So 1 over 3 over 5. So you're going to flip them. They will become 5 over 3. So those are cosecant. Second, so 1, 2, 3. The third letter is a C. So second is 1 over cos. Okay, so 1 over cos. Cos is 4 over 5. So 1 over 4 over 5. So we're going to take the reciprocal for them again. So they will become 5 over 4. Cotangent. So 1, 2, 3. The third letter is a T. So cotangent will become 1 over tangent. Okay, so 1 over tangent. Tangent is actually 3 over 4. So we got 1 over 3 over 4. So they will become 4 over 3. So those are cotangent. Okay, so done with the first learning outcome. So let us proceed with the next one. Okay, so the second linear outcome, you should be able to express tangent theta equal to sine over cos theta. Sine 90 degree minus theta equal to cos. Sine 90 degree minus theta equal to sine. Tangent 90 degree minus theta equal to cotangent theta. Okay, so again, let us draw the right angle triangle. Okay, so just now we already know this is 90 degree, right? So this is 90 degree, and then this angle over here is actually theta. So now, how do you know the value of this one? The total angle inside a triangle is 180. So yang ni memang polygon punya properties kan, tahulah kan. So the total angle inside a triangle is 180. So if let's say this is 90 degree, and that is your theta, that means the other one must be 90 degree minus theta. So you can actually 180 minus 90 degree minus theta. Then you can see that over here, we must have 90 degree minus theta. Okay, so that is how you know what is the angle over here. Okay, so now, what is tangent theta? Okay, so from the diagram, if we are talking about tangent theta, okay, so tangent so kah tua. Okay, tangent is actually opposite over adjacent. So if we are looking at theta over here, then y is the opposite, x is the adjacent, and then z is the hypotenuse. So those are looking at theta. So now we are at theta. So tangent theta is y over x because this is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so now what is tangent sine? What is sine theta? Okay, so sine theta. Sine is actually opposite over hypotenuse. So they are y over z. What about cos theta? So cos theta, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have x over z. Okay, so let us try to find out what is sine theta over cos theta. So if I divide them, sine theta over cos theta, I will have y over z equal to x over z, which means when I simplify them, sine theta over cos theta, they will give me y over x. Therefore, I can see, oh, tangent theta is y over x, and sine theta over cos theta is also y over x. Therefore, I can make a conclusion that they must be equal. Therefore, tangent theta will be equal to sine theta over cos theta. Okay. Right, so that is the first thing. Tangent theta is equal to sine of cos. Okay, so now let us proceed to the second one. How to get sine of 90 degree minus theta. Okay, again, so ka tua. Okay, so sine 90 degree minus theta. So now we are at over here 90 degree minus theta. So where is the opposite of 90 degree minus theta? So the opposite of them is actually x. Y is actually the adjacent, and then z is actually the hypotenuse. Saya tak mau bagi saya tulis lah. Tak apalah, whatever. Okay, so now, what is sine of 90 degree minus theta? So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite of them is x, hypotenuse is z. Therefore, sine of 90 degree minus theta is actually x over z. Okay, so try to see what is cos theta. So cos theta, cos is actually adjacent over hypotenuse. So if you are at theta, okay, let me change the color over here. If we are at theta, then the opposite of theta is y. The adjacent is x. The hypotenuse is still z. Okay, so we are at cos theta. So cos is actually adjacent over hypotenuse. So the adjacent of theta is x, the hypotenuse is z. So altogether, we are going to get the same thing, which is x over z. So therefore, you can make a conclusion that sine of 90 degree minus theta is actually equal to cos theta. Actually, you can look from the graph as well. Tapi tak apalah, yang ni kita pakai triangle je. Okay, so the next one, cos of 90 degree minus theta. Okay, so what is cos? Cos is actually adjacent over hypotenuse. So if let's say you are at 90 degree minus theta, then the adjacent for them is actually y, the hypotenuse is z. So cos of 90 degree minus theta is equal to y over z. And then find out what is sine theta. So if you are at sine theta, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite of theta is y. The hypotenuse is z. So again, we are going to get the same thing, which is sine theta equal to y over z. So you can make a conclusion that cos of 90 degree minus theta is actually equal to sine theta. So we can actually make some conclusion based on the diagram. Okay, the last one. Right, so now, so kah tua again. So kah tua. Okay, so tangent. Tangent is actually opposite over adjacent. So we are at 90 degree minus theta. So the opposite of them is x. The adjacent is y. So that means if we are talking about the tangent of 90 degree minus theta, we are talking about x over y. Okay, so now let us try to simplify the right hand side, the cotangent. Okay, so what is cotangent? Cotangent is 1 over tangent. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so this is our theta. So the opposite of theta is y. The adjacent is x. Therefore, this tangent over here is equal to y over x. Okay, so we got 1 over y over x. So you can take the reciprocal for them, flip them. Therefore, this is actually x over y. So you can say that tangent of 90 degree minus theta is actually equal to cotangent theta. So those are the things that you have to know about trigonometric ratio. So kalau tak nak memorize, maksudnya kena lukis balik lah diagram tu. Boleh lah kalau nak derive kiranya. Kalau tak nak semak otak tu boleh je lah kalau nak derive. Kalau nak senang salin je masuk dalam satu kertas. Tengok hari-hari. Okay, next. So now special angle. So this is the special angle that you have to remember. Okay. So some of you might learn how to use the triangle, right? So ada yang dah belajar guna triangle. Lagi selain pada triangle apa lagi? Macam-macam lah cara. Tapi hari ni saja je lah saya ajar metod yang rasa macam jarang kot orang guna. Macam itulah. Okay, tak apa. Macam mana nak hafal? Or how to memorize the special angle? Okay, so make sure you are ready with your hand, your fingers. Take a pen. Pen lah, kalau pencil nanti tak boleh. Okay. Let me try to draw my hand, okay? Okay, draw my hand. Okay, how to draw my hand? Satu jari. Dua jari. Dah macam bunga dah. Tiga jari. Tak naik. Tiga jari. Macam pelik je tangan ni. Sekejap. Sabar je lah. Saya rasa kan setiap tahun saya nak lukis tangan tak lepas. Tak apalah. Korang ada tangan kan? Buatlah tangan tu. Saya kira macam ni je lah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Acil tu tangan. Kaki ayam ke apa. Tak kisahlah tangan. Okay. So your fingers, okay. So normally for me, since I'm a right-handed person, so those are what I will write on my left. Okay. So now, on your thumb, yang kat sini 0, and then 30, 45, 60, 90. So simply write them over here. So 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. So on your fingers. So for me, I already use them a lot, so I don't really need to write them. But for you, you might want to write them first. 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90. Okay, and then right over here, apa orang panggil kat sini tak tahu. Bahasa Melayu mesti tak tahu, bahasa Inggeris mesti tak tahu. Apa tah yang dekat tengah ni lah. Right over there, you should have set over 2. Right over here, set over 2. Okay, so now on the left hand side, those will be a sign. On the right hand side, those will be a cos. So you might want to write down set 2 over 2 right in the middle, and then on the left over here is a sign, on the right is a cos. Okay, so now how to memorize them or how to get the value fast. Okay, let's say if you want to get sign of 0, right? So sign of 0, so turunkan nombor yang ada 0 tu. Bring down the finger that has a 0. So bring down 0. Okay, so we say we want to find out the sign, right? So how many fingers do you have left on the left hand side of 0? So tadi dah tutup kan, macam ni lah jari. Ada nampak finger tak sebelah kiri? No, right? So this is set 0 over 2. So that's the reason why you are having 0. So if you want to get a cos, then you should get the number of finger on the right hand side. So yang ini tak sesuai untuk siapa yang ada 6 jari Ada setengah orang ada 6 jari kan, so 5 je. Untuk 5 lah. Okay. So sekarang ni, if let's say you are using this for a cos, right? So they will be set 4 over 2. So set 4 is actually 2. So 2 over 2 will become 1. And then how to get tangent? Tangent is actually sine of a cos. So you can get 0 over 4. Set 0 over set 4. So they will become 0. So set 0 over set 4. Okay, how to get 30 degree? So 30 degree, bring 30 degree down. So on the left hand side, we only have one thing. So this is set 1 over 2, which is 1 over 2, of course. And then if let's say we are looking at cos, right? So cos of 30 degree. So cos is on the right hand side. So we have 1, 2, 3. So this is set 3 over 2. And then how to get the tangent? Tangent is actually left over right. So set 1 over set 3. So that is how you get 1 over set 3. Okay, 45 degree, bring them down. So you got set 2 over 2. So set 2 over 2 can be simplified to become 1 over set 2. And then same thing will happen with the cos. So this is also sec 2 over 2. So 1 over sec 2. And then for the tangent, they are simply sec 2 over sec 2, which is equal to 1. What about 60 degrees? So 0, 30, 45, 60. So 60 is something like this. Okay, so on the left hand side, we have 3 fingers. So this is sec 3 over 2. And then on the right hand side, they are 1 finger. So we have sec 1 over 2. And then in order to get the tangent, so you must use sec 3 over sec 1. So that is how you get sec 3. And then 90 degrees, so of course 90 degree, bring them down. So we have sec 4 over sec 4 over 2. So 2 over 2, which is 1. And then cos of 90 degree on the right hand side, we don't have any finger left. So this is sec 0 over 2. So they will become 0. And then why do we get infinity over here? This is because we have sec 4 over sec 0. So they will become infinity because we cannot have 0 in our denominator. So infinity then. So that is one of the way by using finger. You can draw the triangle, you can use your finger, or you can memorize. If you have a sign, then the value inside of the set keep increasing. The value for the cos keep decreasing. And then the value for the tangent, you simply need to divide the sine over cos. So ada 3 cara lah how to memorize the special angle. So you got 3 ways. I'm sure there are more than that. Okay. Are you guys okay with how to find the special angle? Kenapa saya galakkan guna tangan tu? Sebab takkan kita nak lukis table setiap kali kita nak kira kan. Sebab tu pakai tangan je, cepat sikit. Cos of 90, cos of 90, 45 ke, 30 ke, 60 ke, dia cepat sikit lah kalau kita guna jari je. Okay, next. Alright, so find the value of each expression without using a calculator. Kalau tak nak hafal boleh ke? Tak nak hafal, kena pandai guna calculator lah. Kalau calculator putih atau calculator grey, it will be okay if you are using grey calculator or the white one. But if you are using the black version, then you might want to test what is 1 over sec 2, what is sec 3, 1 over sec 3. So mungkin kena test sikit lah sebab bila kita nak kata without using calculator, that mean you must have the value with the sec. Kau tak nak hafal, sabar je lah. Okay, so now the first one, A. 1 minus tangent square 30 degree over 1 plus tangent square 30 degree. So we got a square over here. So we can actually take out the square first. So we will have 1 minus tangent 30 degree square over 1 plus tangent 30 degree square. And then tangent of 30 degree, so tangent 30 degree is 1 over sec 3. So you simply replace, this is 1 over sec 3, and then the below one, that is also 1 over sec 3. And then of course we should square them. So square each of them. So 1 square is 1, sec 3 square is simply 3. 1 square is 1, sec 3 square is simply 3. So we got 1 minus 1 over 3 over 1 plus 1 over 3. So how do we simplify this? So kalau ada calculator yang senang nak kira, boleh kira terus. Otherwise, we have to simplify them little bit. So 1 minus 1 over 3, so this is 2 over 3. And then over 1 plus 1 over 3, so this is 4 over 3. So you got 2 over 3, divide with 4 over 3. So we're going to change to 2 over 3, multiply with 3 over 4. So cancel out all the 3. We got 2 over 4, which is 1 over 2. So that's the final answer, which is 1 over 2. Okay, next. Right, so they might look a little bit complicated and intimidating at first, but never mind. Okay, so second of 30 degree. What is second? 1, 2, 3. So second is actually cos. So 1 over cos. not second is cos, but second is 1 over cos. Okay, so second of 30 degree, meaning that 1 over cos of 30, tangent of 60, so you can actually calculate the value over here. So they are set 3. And then sine of 45, we have sine of 45 over here. And then cosecant, so 1, 2, 3, we got s over here, so 1 over sine. So cosecant of 45 degree is 1 over sine of 45 degree. So do make sure the angle need to stay with the trigonometric function. So dia bukannya 1 over sine 45. No, not dia. Sine tu dia tak boleh duduk seorang-seorang. Dia mesti kena ada value angle dia kat belakang. So sine of 45, sine of 30 and so on. Okay, so cos of 30, that is sec 3 over 2. And then cotangent, so 1, 2, 3, this is 1 over tangent. So 1 over tangent, so the angle is 60 degree. So 1 over tangent of 60. So we are going to replace all those things and then see what happened when we simplify them. Okay, so replace. Okay, so as you can see, we got sine 45 over sine 45. So if you don't want to substitute with 1 over sec 2, you can actually simplify them straight away. They will give you 1. And then tangent of 60, you got to try to substitute the value in. So you substitute all the value. So we will have 1 over sec 3 over 2 multiply with sec 3 plus 1 plus sec 3 over 2 multiply with 1 over sec 3. And then of course you should simplify them. Okay, so 1 over sec 3 over 2, if you simplify them, they actually become 2 over 3. And then you multiply them with sec 3, cancel out. We are going to be left with 2. So this one, if you simplify them, they will become a 2. Okay, and then sec 3 over 2, 1 over sec 3 again, if you simplify them, this one will become 1 over 2. So we got 2 plus 1 plus 1 over 2. So that means the answer will become 7 over 2. So done. Okay, next. Find the angle of the trigonometric equation. Okay, so this is the quadrant that you memorize during your high school level again. So ingat tak macam mana awak hafal masa zaman sekolah dulu? Do you remember how you memorize them during your high school level? All sine, tangent, cos. How do you memorize them? I'm just wondering. ASTC. Apa mnemonik yang korang guna? Add sugar to coffee. Okay. Add sugar to coffee. Abang Sain tak comel. Serius? Abang Sain tak comel. Lah. ASTC Okay. All Sain teacher cute. Okay. All Sain teacher crazy. Okay. Macam-macam. Tapi Abang Sain tak comel tu first time lah. Never heard of that before actually. Okay. Or since you guys are in Kedah, so we're gonna use Kedah then. Okay, so ASTC. Ni untuk orang Kedah orang Kedah. Hello, star to Changlun. Untuk orang Kedah kita kasih lah. Kalau yang tak boleh hafal sampai sudah tu kan. Hello, star to Changlun. ASTC. Okay, so all silver teacup ke, all science teacher, blah 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 tu kan. Okay, so what do they mean? They mean that if you have any angle between 0 and 90 degree, whether it is a sine or is it a cos or is it a tangent, all of them will give you a positive value. So those are the reason why we have this kind of quadrant. Okay, in the second quadrant, they belong to the sine. So that means if you have an angle between 90 degree to 180 degree, then that means only sine will give you a positive angle. Other than that, they will become negative. So that's the reason why you are having something like this. So sine of theta is sine of 180 minus theta. So you simply want to change it into a basic angle or an acute angle actually. So that's the reason why we have 180 minus theta over here. Nak dapatkan basic angle ataupun principal angle ataupun acute angle. Okay, acute is somewhere in between 0 and 90, just in case you didn't know. Acute angle. Angle yang cute. Saya kira faham. Dia kata betul but. Okay. So now, cos of theta. So cos will give you a negative because this is the quadrant belong to the sine. So cos will give you a negative. So negative cos whatever that basic angle is. And then if you have tangent theta, they will also give you a negative if you are using a basic angle. So in the third quadrant, they belong to the tangent. So only tangent will stay as positive. Other than that, if you use the basic angle for them, they will become negative. Okay, so sine and cos, both of them are actually negative. For the tangent, we have simply equal to the tangent of theta minus 180. So this is why. Why do we have theta minus 180? Again, we want to get some acute angle. So that's the reason why they have theta minus 180. They want to get some acute angle. But only the tangent will stay as positive. The rest will be changed to negative because they are in the wrong quadrant. Okay, in the fourth quadrant, only the cos will stay positive. So that means if you have anything between 270 until 360, only cos will stay the same. So cos will stay as a cos, so positive cos. But for sine and for tangent, they will be negative. And then we have one more thing called the negative angle. So for the negative angle, only the cost will stay the same. So ini acah-acah macam factorize. Acah-acah tau. Acah-acah macam factorize. We don't really factorize them. We actually using the properties of negative angle or using the definition of negative angle actually. Acah-acah macam factorize lah akhirnya. Okay, if you have sine of negative theta, it's like having negative of sine theta. If you have cos of negative theta, so since we are talking about the negative angle, so cos of negative theta is simply equal to cos theta. So it doesn't really matter whether you have a positive or negative inside here for the cos. And then tangent of negative theta, they will become negative of tangent theta. So macam ala-ala kita factorize lah. Macam kita bukan factorize betul. Kita memang guna definition Okay, next. Let us try to solve some example. So I already give you all the formula on the right hand side. So we just need to state the trigonometric ratio in acute angle. Angle yang cute. Okay, so now sine of 140. So now based on the quadrant, you have to check first. Where is 140? Are they in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, or fourth quadrant? Okay, so this is 0, this is 90, and then we have 180, 270, and then this one over here, 360. So where is 140? 140 is somewhere in between 90 and 180. So they are in the second quadrant. Okay, so now we go to the second quadrant and then check. Okay, so this is sine theta. So if we are talking about sine of 140, okay, so we are going to use this formula then. Sine theta is actually equal to sine 180 minus theta. Okay, so sine of 140 is equal to sine 180 minus 140, which is simply equal to sine 40. So tinggal sampai situ je lah. They just want us to state in acute angle. So sine of 40. Okay, cos of 2 to 6. Where is 2 to 6? So obviously 2 to 6 is somewhere in between 180 and 270. So somewhere here then. So they are actually in the third quadrant. So go to the third quadrant. This is only positive for the tangent. So that means if you have a cos, they will become negative. So cos of theta is equal to negative cos of theta minus 180. So using that formula, we have negative cos 226 minus 180. So negative cos 46 degree. Okay, so this is already in acute angle. They are in between 0 and 90. So that is okay. Right, so now tangent of negative 211. Okay, so we got negative. If you have negative for the angle, you should use the formula for the negative angle first. So tangent of negative. So tangent of negative is like we are factorizing the negative out. So they will become negative of tangent 211. Okay, so 211. 211, where is 211? First, second, third, fourth. So basically they are in the third the third quadrant. They are in between 180 and 270, like 211. So they are in the third quadrant. So first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, they are in the third quadrant. So tangent in the third quadrant, the formula is stay as positive. So tangent theta minus 180. So look at this one. This one, we are going to change them to become tangent of theta minus 180. So they will become negative tangent 211 minus 180. So simplify this, they will become 31. So this is negative tangent 31 degree. So we already state them in trigonometry, state the trigonometric ratio in acute angle. Let us see some example where we can actually use the special angle. Okay, so now, without using calculator, find the value of the following. Cos of 210. So again, draw your quadrant 0, 90, 180, 270. So this is 0 or 360. So Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay, so we should check first, where is 210? So 210 is somewhere in between 180 and 270. So they are in the third quadrant. Therefore, we are going to use the formula for cos in the third quadrant. So in the third quadrant, only tangent will stay as positive, cos will be negative. So cos will be negative, cos theta minus 180. So this is the negative of 210 minus 180. So 210 minus 180 is actually 30. So we got this one as negative cos 30. And then you simply substitute the value in cos of 30 degrees. So the value is sec 3 over 2. So substitute the value in. So this is negative sec 3 over 2. Okay, so we change it into the acute angle first. And then we see from the table what is the value for them. Okay, B now. Tangent of negative 120. So now you can see we have a negative. If you have negative, you should use the definition of negative angle first. Must use the definition of negative angle first. Okay, tangent. Tangent of negative theta, they will become negative of tangent theta. So we can actually take out the negative sign out. So they will become negative tangent 120. Okay, so now we are focusing on tangent 120. Where is that? Okay, so 0, 90, 180. Okay, so 120 is somewhere in between 90 and 180. So they are in the second quadrant. So in the second quadrant, only the sign will stay positive. The rest of it will become negative. Okay, so if we refer to the formula, tangent of theta is the negative of tangent 180 minus theta. So they will become the negative of tangent 180 minus 120. Okay, and then of course, the negative and negative, you can actually simplify them. Negative, negative, they will become positive because this is simply some number in front of the tangent, so we can actually times them. So they will become positive tangent of 60. And then tangent of 60, so 60 over here, tangent of 60 is equal to square root of 3. So we simply replace them with square root of 3. And then done with the fourth example. So now the next one, the proving part. Okay, so prove the trigonometric identities. Okay, so this is the Pythagorean identity. So we have 3 of them, but you can actually memorize the first one, the third and the second and the third one. You can actually derive them. Okay, so sine square plus cos square is equal to 1. So in order to get the second one, what you can do is that you can actually divide everything with sine square. If you divide everything with sine square over sine square will become a 1. Cos square over sine square will become cotangent square. 1 over sine square will become cosecant square. So see this letter over here? This is 1 over sine square. So 1 over sine square is simply equal to cosecant square theta. Okay, so how do you go from sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1 to become the third formula, which is 1 plus tangent square theta equal to secant square theta. So just now you are dividing with sine square, so now you can try to divide with cos square. So sine square over cos square, they will give you a tangent square. Cos square over cos square, they will give you a 1. 1 over cos square, so this is secant square. Okay, so 1 over cos square, they will give you secant square theta. So you can actually memorize the first one, the third, and the second one. You can actually derive them. So that is normally what happened to me. I don't really remember them. So I just memorize the first one, and then the second and the third one, I normally derive them. I need to. Okay, so now let us try to prove that tangent theta plus cotangent theta is equal to secant theta cosecant theta. So firstly, you should decide first. Do you want to start from the left hand side or do you want to start from the right hand side? So decide first. Normally, we are going to start from the easier one. And normally, the way the question given to you is that normally you should be able to start from the left hand side. Okay, so now let us start from tangent theta plus cotangent theta. What do you know about tangent theta as well as cotangent theta? Okay, so what do we know? We know that tangent theta is actually sine over cos. Cotangent is actually 1 over tangent. Therefore, they are cos over sine. So cotangent is 1 over tangent theta, and since tangent theta is sine over cos, therefore cotangent will become cos over sine. And then since you have a fraction plus with another fraction, normally we are going to simplify them into a single fraction first. Okay, so simplify into a single fraction, you are going to get sine square plus with cos square over cos theta sine theta. So simplify them. You will have sine square plus cos square over cos theta sine theta. And then we just learned about the Pythagorean identity, right? So sine square plus cos square, those are actually the identity that we have to remember by heart, by mind, by soul. So cos square plus sine square is actually equal to 1. So what do we have is 1 over cos theta sine theta. And then since we have some number at the top and then we have a multiplication in our denominator, I can actually separate them into 2. So we can write them down as 1 over cos theta multiply with 1 over sine theta, because 1 over cos theta is actually equal to secant theta and 1 over sine theta is actually equal to cosecant theta. So proven, done. Proven. Okay, so that is the first one. Let us speak with the second one. Okay, so now cotangent to the power of 4 theta plus cotangent square theta equal to cosecant 4 theta minus cosecant square theta. So now, normally like I told you, normally try to start from the left hand side first. Sometimes you can easily see which one is easier, which one is harder. But if let's say you couldn't see, let's say you start from the left and suddenly you get stuck, never mind. just do another one with the right hand side. So tengoklah nanti dia jumpa kat mana. Kadang-kadang kita boleh nampak dia jumpa kat kedai mana. Okay, so now cotangent 4 theta plus cotangent square theta. So I do see something that is similar between them. They do have cotangent square. So I will try to factorize cotangent square out first. So try to factorize cotangent square. So I will have cotangent square theta multiply with cotangent square theta plus 1. But I do think that cotangent square theta plus 1 is something that is quite well known. They are actually one of the identity actually, but never mind. Let us try to derive. Sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. So I want cotangent, so let us divide everything with sine. Okay, so sine over sine is simply 1. Cos over sine is cotangent square theta. 1 over sine, so this is cosecant square theta. So that means I can actually replace cotangent square theta plus 1 to become cosecant square. Okay, so now if you check your right hand side, everything needs to be in cosecant. Therefore, I cannot have this cotangent in front. So I have to change them in terms of cosecant. So if you are making cotangent as your subject, you should be able to see that cotangent square is actually cosecant square minus 1. So we can actually change it to become cosecant square minus 1 multiply with cosecant square and then try to expand them. So you will have cosecant to the power of 4 theta minus cosecant square theta. And that is actually what do we have on the right hand side. So this is proven, done. So that's the only thing that we have to do. So always make sure either you start from the left hand side or right hand side. Keep on simplify them, use whatever formula that you know so far, substitute, until you get whatever you have on the right hand side. Okay, so do make sure, don't move both of them at the same time, otherwise I will penalize your marks. So be very careful with your group assignment. Do check your friends' work. Make sure they don't move the left hand side and right hand side together. Okay, right. So I think that's all for today. So now we will proceed with the tutorial. So I'll give you the link for the Google Meet. So I'll see you guys later. So untuk siapa yang belum isi attendance, sila isi attendance dulu lah. And then we see you later. Bye-bye everyone. Have a nice day.